Wow, everyone, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but as the Raiders went into the tunnel at halftime, there were Chiefs fans out there who called the Raiders the N-word and also threw beer at them. This is absolutely despicable behavior, and you don't see many people talking about it. And oftentimes people talk about how, oh, Raiders fans, they're always troublemakers, they're criminals, they're bad people, but look at this behavior by these Chiefs fans, and this is what they did the whole entire game, getting upset at the officiating as well, having tantrums because they saw one roughing the passer call go against them. And here's what they did. SportsCenter is showing this video that was captured where looks like some Chiefs fans threw some beer at the Raiders after they were winning 20-10, had a big lead ahead of the Chiefs, and then there they go throwing some beer at our players and trying to pick a fight with them. And hey, this looks bad. We've seen this happen before, but then we find out from Jermaine Illuminor of the Las Vegas Raiders, the right tackle, crazy game in a crazy atmosphere. But at the end of the day, we're all human. So for the trash fans shouting out the N-word as we ran into the tunnel for halftime, does that make you feel good about yourself? Seriously, shit is weak as F. And basically, this is what he's reporting. He's the guy who was called it. So I don't think this guy's lying or making any of this up. For any of y'all saying this is a baseless accusation, there was a cop right behind me who confirmed that he heard the same thing. So Illuminor also has some witnesses. So in this moment, when the Raiders are going in through the tunnel, you have these Chiefs fans just cannot handle losing at any point. 20-10, they were really getting owned in that first half of the game, and they could not handle that situation. They got absolutely upset. And this isn't the only report we have of this behavior. You also have Doug Gottlieb saying, well, when they went in at halftime, people were throwing plastic bottles. So, in the context of this, looking at Devontae Adams' reaction to the cameraman later in the game, look, this was the scene that was happening. You had people getting racial slurs called at them, and then literally fans throwing trash at our Raiders players. And this is how the fans are acting. When you don't get a roughing the passer call, go your way, you completely flip out, you can't handle it, because Chiefs fans, they're spoiled. They're spoiled, and they're not used to having a fair game called against them. They're used to getting the benefit of the doubt. They're used to Patrick Mahomes being the new Tom Brady. So when a flag happens that's against them, they just have never seen it before. But as Raiders fans, we're used to getting flags on us all the time. We're used to getting unfair calls on us all the time. So we don't flip out too much when this happens. It's kind of like same old. But these Chiefs fans absolutely lost their mind in this scenario, and so did maybe a Mr. Plus Size over here, Andy Reid. He kind of lost his mind as well. And this guy, he's severely overweight. He really needs to settle down on the sideline for the sake of his health. We know last year, earlier in the season, he went to the hospital when the Chiefs were last in the division and Gruden had the Raiders at 3-0. Then he had Andy Reid going to the hospital because he couldn't handle the stress and everything was kind of getting to him. And this could happen again for the guy if he keeps reacting in this way, super pissed off, yelling at the officials and whatnot. And, at the same time, officials often do throw flags at the coach if the coach oversteps their boundaries, if they're getting a little too close and testy with them, not respecting the officiating that they call on the field. When Josh McDaniels, a head coach of the Raiders, had some BS calls happen to him in the fourth quarter, which we have another video on that, he just said, all right, we're on to the next play. He did not throw a tantrum like Andy Reid over here, and Andy Reid probably should have had an additional penalty after this for not having sportsmanlike behavior. And guess what? When the Raiders went into the tunnel, Chiefs fans are throwing trash at them, calling them racial slurs. But when Andy Reid and the Chiefs went into the tunnel, Andy Reid stayed back, and he actually talked to Carl Sheffers, the referee, along the sideline and unleashed on him, let him have it, according to a reporter of the Kansas City Star. And that's kind of suspect in a way, because we saw the penalties become completely lopsided in the second half of the game. What did Andy Reid say to Sheffers? Why is he able to sort of argue his way for more flags and calls to go his way in the second half? Why can he not just be like the other coaches in the NFL and go into the tunnel, move on, and try to make some adjustments in the second half? Instead, he's trying to affect the game with the officiating by having Carl Sheffers have it, by ripping into him at halftime instead of going with his team in the tunnel. So he thought it was that important to go in there and try to influence the officiating. And people need to ask Andy Reid, what did you say to Carl Sheffers at halftime? What did you say to completely change this game and cause it to where the Chiefs, had about 8 flags go in their favor in the second half? The Raiders had 2. It was absolutely lopsided. Not only all the non-calls that happened, and don't even get me started on the holding on the field goal try that gave Kansas City more shots to go and score a touchdown for the lead. So this is all sketchy stuff, but this just shows you the behavior of Chiefs fans and Raiders fans. Don't get it twisted. Don't let the media make you think that the Raiders fans have worse behavior, show less sportsmanship than these Chiefs fans. These Chiefs fans are despicable, and honestly, they have the technology to find out who threw some beer at our players, who yelled these racial slurs. You see another cop, according to Illuminor, he also heard it. Why can they not use this technology to find whatever fans did this and say, hey, you're not allowed at the stadium anymore. You got a permanent ban. We've seen this happen before, and they should be disciplined. They should be disciplined. They should not be allowed to treat Las Vegas Raiders players like this. 60% of our viewers are still not subscribed, so make sure you click on that subscribe button for more Raiders content. Also, if you want to see more content from me, WiFiWillie, on the rest of the NFL, check out WiFiWillie NFL. We're doing content on all kinds of teams and some of the biggest stories in the NFL outside of the Las Vegas Raiders. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.